The conversation I'm about to have is a conversation some of us have experienced or had someone, or you've heard of a story, and even sometimes it's affecting our children. I'm having this conversation because I had a lady go online and say, I have not been able to get a spouse. I've not been able to get someone to marry me because I have a condition, and the condition is bedwetting. When this lady wrote this comment last week on Friday, 250 Kenyans, both men and women, came out to say, I've experienced this, my child experiences it, my wife, my husband. Some people, of course, came in to laugh, to make fun. Today is not that particular day. You can make fun in your private or areas, but I want us to have a candid conversation. Bedwetting as a medical conditions. We will talk about anything and everything that pertains to it. And I would also like you to opine on the conversation. If you have a query or a question, you can opine on the conversation through our social media handles, SpiceFM KE on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And later at the top of the hour, you can call in on 0719 01 to 600. Today's other adult who is a guest to our studio is a lovely lady by the name of Lucy Wambui. Wambui or Wambui?
Wambui.
Wambui, pardon me, Lucy Wambui. She's the founder of Enuresis initiative. Have I said it correctly?
Correct, Barbara.
So before we get to anything, this word Enuresis initiative, what is it all about, and who, most importantly, is Lucy Wambui?
Asante, thank you very, very much,
Karibu
Barbara.
We've been talking for like a week.
Yes.
I've been trying to get a date to get you here.
Yes. And I'm so happy that today has come.
Yes.
Thank you very much, everyone who is tuned in, wherever you are getting us from. Today we are tackling this issue. This is something that we know happens in our homes.
The bedwetting.
Yes. And today we are going to talk about bedwetting, what it is, causes, effects, and possible remedies for it.
Yes.
Okay. So,
How did you get into this conversation of bedwetting?
Into this, I got into this because I was a bedwetter.
Okay.
For the first 15 years of my life.
Okay.
Okay, I stopped bedwetting when I was 15 years old.
Okay.
Big girl in Form 3.
Okay.
Okay. And it caused me so much distress. That was, I grew up in the 70s.
Okay.
And 80s. Back then, there was no fora like this.
Yeah.
There was very little radio. Tele used to start at 5 p.m. and close at about 11 p.m. There was very little information.
And then they'll finish with Utna.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
so there was very little in the way of information that you could get. And also, up to this day, this subject is still it is shrouded in a lot of stigma, so much myth.
It's a taboo in some sector.
It's a taboo subject.
Some people even laugh about it.
So much. Even to get you guys, well, I was surprised how receptive you were to this.
Yes, I saw you were very shocked. I was like, yes, I would like to have you.
I was shocked, actually, because I've been hitting brick wall after wall, trying to get into especially mainstream media to talk about this.
First, I'm the Duchess of Ikolomani.
Yes.
And this is
SpiceFM. It is the Duchess, yes.
Adults in the room, we have authentic conversations, conversations that many people do not want to have. And I'm sure we are going to have, as we continue with this show, there is a potential political leader in Africa who actually had an occurrence today.
Of incontinence.
Exactly. So that is also part of why I want to ask, because I know you have an initiative that talks about and runs about this kind of things.
Yes. So dearth of information. Back then we didn't know that this was a purely medical condition.
We blamed it on parents for not potty training their children well.
No, it's potty training can help to some extent.
People blamed their parents.
To some extent.
Okay.
It can help to some extent. But when we are talking about the causes of this, the genes we get from our parents.
Okay.
Our parents could have been bedwetters.
But they never talk about it.
No, they don't. They would never talk about this. So if two parents man and woman come together, they were bedwetters, the chances of their child being a bedwetter will be about 75%.
Okay.
If it's one parent who is a bedwetter, chances will be about 50%. So, and there's nothing you can do about that. Your child can be, yes, it's in the genes.
Yes.
There's also the physiological makeup of a person. Some persons are made with a small bladder.
Okay.
When you sleep 6-8 hours, it can't hold. The volume of urine that will be produced in that body, the small bladder can't hold. Some people are made with an overactive bladder. You know those kids who ask for permission twice in a lesson
yes,
to
and
go to the loo.
And you're thinking like, hii ni mchezo. This child,
wako nayo.
So
the bladder is very active.
Okay.
Kana piga makojoa kupiga. Lazima mtoto akae akikimbia. So all these factors.
So this is an adult who will also grow up with an overreactive bladder.
Yes, they can grow up with that.
Okay.
Yeah. There's also the enuresis that happens because of some trauma that a child encountered.
Okay.
You can see a child who had died. They had stopped. About 8 years, 10 years, they start becoming a bedwetter. Something has happened to that child, and it has manifested outwardly as bedwetting.
So do they carry it on to their adulthood, and this is where we see adults who actually have to sleep with a Macintosh?
Yeah, they can. They can. If it is untreated, and if it doesn't stop by itself, they can transit to becoming adults who wet the bed.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. And how can someone solve this? I know you've talked about overreactive bladders.
Yes.
Small bladders.
Yes.
Are those things that can be medically fixed?
Yes, they
or
can
treated?
They are treatable.
How are they treatable?
They are treatable, but they don't have a quick fix solution to it.
Explain to me.
Yeah, it's not like, okay, when we're talking about this kind of incontinence, this one of enuresis.
Yes.
This is the one where there's nothing wrong health-wise with the person.
Yes.
The only issue they have is when they sleep
they bedwet. Yeah, because
they're not diabetic.
Yes.
Because diabetic can manifest itself like that, a lot of urination, even during the day. They're not diabetic. It's not like somebody had a drink. It's not like that day that a child went to a party, they drank a lot of soda and akakojoa kwa kitanda usiku. We are not talking about that.
Because even I've had adults who'll say, I went to the bathroom, I didn't take any fluids, but when I sleep, at least twice or 3 weeks, 2 days in a week, I bedwet.
I bedwet. Yeah. This is enuresis.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's still a medical condition.
Yes, it's still a medical condition. We're also not talking about the incontinence like this one that happened to this mzee of a neighboring country.
Yes.
Because that incontinence may be caused by factors like diabetes, age.
Yeah, we are yet to know if there was sick
or a prostate, an enlarged prostate in the male gender.
Oh, so that can cause
it presses on the bladder.
Okay.
Yeah, it can cause urine to come out even without somebody knowing.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is not what we are talking about.
Yes.
We are talking about the involuntary passing of urine during sleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you said involuntary. How can I try or how can I cope? Like, give me coping mechanisms. I am Barbara, for example. I've realized my spouse has this or I'm suffering from this and I'm listening to the show. How can I cope going forward?
Okay.
Especially if I'm an adult. I'll go back to children, but especially if I'm an adult.
For adults and for children. And basically interventions for enuresis are recommended from the age 6 upwards. Below that, let them get potty training or something.
So below 6, we just leave them?
Leave it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a issue. But after age of 6, nobody should be bedwetting.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's I'd like to point out at this point that bedwetting happens to all human races of the world. African, European, Arabs, Koreans, whatever. All the human beings of the world can be affected by bedwetting.
Okay.
So, sometime in the 20s or 30s, a long time ago, a German pediatrician, he put together a contraption to alert the nurse that child in bed number so-and-so has wet the bed and they need to be changed. There are some instances where children have a prolonged stay in the hospital, months, weeks.
Yes.
And that contraption was observed to have a therapeutic effect on bedwetting. Okay. Kind of like it's making it regular, kind of like it's training a child to be waking up to susu.
But no,
Ama anaitana.
Yes.
So that contraption was actually adapted and made into a bedwet alarm. There is such a gadget as a bedwet alarm.
So, but don't you think it has to be wet to alert you?
The first drops of urine. When you start wetting, the first few drops of urine triggers the alarm.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, this gadget has been patented by people like the Chinese. They manufacture it in mass.
Is it available locally?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Because my initiative has brought it here.
Okay.
Yeah. And for the last 1 or 2 years, I've been doing social merchandising of this.
Okay.
There are several people in our country who have used it.
And it's working out for them?
They have stopped.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it triggers and alerts them that you need to wake up.
Yeah, it's a 6-week therapy period.
And in those 6 weeks, do they stop?
They stop, some stop even within 10 days.
And then they no longer need the alarm?
No longer need the alarm, and that ends. Inaisha hiyo maneno. What it does is to train, first of all, your bladder to become regular. Okay, you used to wet the bed maybe 3-4 times, 2-3 times a night. They start wetting once, and it tapers off, and they actually stop.
So this is a contraption or a gadget that can be used from the age of 6 years old?
Yes, from the age of 6 years. 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. The oldest person I've seen using it and they stopped bedwetting was a lady in her 30s.
Okay.
Like the one you mentioned at the beginning.
Yes.
Somebody who used to even fear to have a boyfriend.
Yes, because the majority of the people even fear being in relationships.
Yes, they do.
Yes. And I found out when I was reading that post that we have a lot of senior spinsters and bachelors. The real reason they're not married is because of this problem, but they don't speak about it.
Yes. But how do you speak about it? Who do you tell?
Okay.
Unless you meet somebody who has ever had that kind of a condition. So if you met somebody like me, because of my history, I would be understanding about it. If a child came to a sleepover in my house with mine and they had an episode of bedwetting, I'll be understanding. I'll know what to do. But if you don't, I actually had a lady chatting with me online, and she told me, she confided in me, because they feel free to talk to me because I say what I am and what I was. She narrated to me that she's a bedwetter. She's a mom. Her child is also a bedwetter.
It's a family thing.
Yeah. It's these genes, I think. And she told me about her friend who also had the same issue of bedwetting. And this lady, apparently she spent a night with her boyfriend and she had an episode of bedwetting. And the boyfriend talked about it. Kamwongelelea sana in their circles, hata kwa WhatsApp groups. And it was too much for the lady. She took her life.
Oh, that's sad.
And this lady was telling me she sometimes thinks of doing the same thing herself because of her desperation. But she just wonders who will be taking care of her bedwetting child. Nitaachia manani huyu mtoto wangu mkojozi.
Okay.
That's the only thing that was holding her. I tried to reach out to this lady again. Sijaweza kumwongeleshea tena. Hajaweza kunijibu. I'm just hoping and praying to God that she's okay wherever she is.
When we come back, I would like to get more or learn more from Lucy about the coping mechanisms of those who are bedwetting. She's talked about a contraption, a gadget that is in the country. And today, if you're just joining in, we're talking about bedwetting as a medical condition. I'd like you to tell a friend to tell a friend. This condition is happening in our country. The only problem is we are not free to talk about it. Yesterday, when I mentioned the word bedwetting to certain people I was having a conversation, their first response was to laugh and ask me, Duchess, the things that you talk about in the show, are you serious? And I told them, no. I want you to plug in and listen to the show. And I know some of you have seen the post and they're wondering, what is it today? A number of Kenyans are going through this. Some of them are your brothers, your sisters, your children, your spouses, your girlfriends. Some of you fear sleeping or spending the night or going on holidays in public places. Some of you have already even been given warning letters by hotel establishment because of this. We're talking about bedwetting as a condition. Plug into this conversation and tell a friend to tell a friend.
Spice.
Joining in, this is SpiceFM. The show is The Adults in the Room. 12 minutes to the top of the hour. The conversation today we are having is with a lady called Lucy Wambui. Bedwetting as a medical condition. Some people are going through this, some of our children, and many, if we're honest with ourselves, it has become a taboo and as an unspoken vice that we shun, that we don't speak about. Today I want to shed some more light so that we can try and understand and know that bedwetting is a medical condition. Now, Lucy, we were talking about the coping mechanism. You've told me one about the gadget, and I'll be asking more about the gadget towards the end of the show. What are the other coping mechanisms for an adult or for a child when it comes to bedwetting?
Asante sana, Barbara. Now, one thing that we can do at home when we have this of our child or a spouse or a friend or somebody close to us is going through this. First of all, when you're going through some kind of a pain like this one, it helps to know that you're not alone. Mm-hmm. You're not the only one.
Sometimes you could find maybe it's only one child who bedwets in the house.
Yes.
Or maybe no one in the house bedwets, but maybe the mother or the father.
Yes.
So now, where is there a support group or where?
Now, you can find that it's the eldest child who bedwets and the others have stopped. Yes. The smaller ones have stopped. Don't allow the smaller ones to ridicule the older one. If possible, even hide it. When I started talking about these things and doing interviews, especially with the private YouTubers, a lady in the UK admitted to me that their eldest son was a bedwetter, and they have a younger daughter who stopped bedwetting very early, and she never knew that the elder brother was a bedwetter. Even when the mom, who was a nurse, would be working night shift, the father would wake up early in the morning, take the wet beddings from the boy's bed and put them in the wash to cover this shame. These are things that we can do for our family members, for our loved ones, without having them cost us so much.
Okay.
Don't ridicule that person. Don't punish them. They can't help it. Also, another thing that you know that you should not do, don't wake them up to go to the loo. Don't do that.
You just let them
yes,
really,
because you're going to wake them up. Uamshe mtoto alie usiku. Uamshe mtoto upate amekojoa. Umwamshe.
What if you train? I don't know, but can you train? And I'm talking, and don't look at it. I know it comes from maybe a place of ignorance. I don't know. I am blessed, and I'll say the word blessed. My child is not a bedwetter. I have never experienced that. I think from about 2 years, we stopped doing pampers, school, as in there's regular. But I'm one of those people who would say, before you go to bed, go to the bathroom. Use the bathroom. So I've trained that, and it's worked for me for the last 9 years. So that's why when you say...
Train is effective everywhere. Training is effective everywhere, even potty training. You see, like myself, because of my experience as a bedwetter, I actually potty trained my son at 6 months.
Okay.
And I always tell parents, as soon as they can sit unsupported, they are ready to be potty trained. Okay. And don't wait too long, because some people wait and start potty training at 2 years, 3 years. Unaona mtoto amekataa potty.
Because I forgot about diapers after a year.
Even me.
Yeah,
I was not diapering anybody. After 1 year, I was not. And I would train the house help. Mtoto nikisikia najikojolea huku, nikisikia tunafua makojoo, nikisikia amejiendea haja, ujue umeanguka mtihani.
But
he's now showing some kind of independence.
You see, the attitude that you and I have is the attitude that people bring to the table. And that's why you could say that people would ridicule or not understand.
Yeah.
Would you think it's from a point of not having information, or we're thinking like, this is the way life should be? So bedwetting is not the norm.
It's not the norm, but because it is such a distressing condition to have, let's all show compassion.
Okay, yes, true.
Yeah. Don't be like, I trained and maybe sikupata ujinga kama huu, kitoto kikubwa hivi. No, don't do that.
Okay.
The person, the bedwetter, is already suffering so low self-esteem. They are already desperate. They're already wondering how they are ever going, whether they're going to live like this for the rest of their lives. So don't beat them down when they are down there. So compassion, and also it helps if you are a parent and maybe you are a bedwetter, admit it to your child. Usijifanye ni kama wewe ulizaliwa ukiwa mtu mkubwa.
You know, all parents were number one.
Na hujapitia haya.
We were all number one.
Yes.
We all succeeded in school.
Yes.
So most parents don't talk about their failures.
Yes.
Or the things that didn't work for them.
But to admit to your child that you are something like this, it helps them so much.
Okay.
Yeah. So that they don't go so low.
Out of curiosity, as you continue, for you, was it genetics? Because you said you were a bedwetter. Was it genetics, or you just found yourself bedwetting till 15? How did you stop?
It was not, I don't know if it was genetics, because I was the only bedwetter.
In your family?
I'm an only daughter, and I was the only bedwetter.
Till 15?
Till 15. So because of that, maybe protectiveness. There were a lot of things that I was not allowed to do, like I was not allowed to go on a sleepover because I'll be exposed.
Yeah.
I was not allowed to go to boarding school.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Because they did not want to.
Yeah, my mother felt utaenda kuchunwa na kina matron huko kahapa. Yes.
But though despite you wanted to go to boarding school,
I wanted
but
so much.
Your parents protected you.
My mother protected me. She refused. And also my brothers told me, utaenda kukojolea boarding, watu ulalia madeka. Utaenda kukojolea watu huko chini.
They were traumatizing you.
Yeah. So in that kind of a way, I was kind of protected.
Yes.
You can choose the level of protection you're going to accord your child.
Okay.
Yeah. If your child is going to be laughed at in those sleepovers, maybe they can avoid them.
It's not a must.
Yeah. It's not a must.
Yeah.
If the host is not understanding, stop doing those sleepovers.
Would you be open to someone, for example, you're a parent who your child is a bedwetter and you're coming to sleep over to my house? Do you think those parents should also be open to just talking about the condition?
Yes, they can.
So that the other person is able to know, am I able to accommodate this or not?
Yes.
Because sometimes when you surprise someone, that's where the problem comes in.
Why couldn't they tell us like this? Because we would have bought adult diapers.
Or no, even a Macintosh.
Or even a Mac or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So conversations like this one we're having and our listeners are listening in, we'll begin to be able to talk about these things openly.
Okay.
If my child is visiting some place, we can tell the person, my child has an issue.
How did you stop bedwetting?
I just woke up one day and I was dry. I didn't believe it because I was a daily bedwetter. I didn't believe it. And then the next day, and the next day, and a week, and a month, and it never came back.
Just like that?
Just like that.
You never did anything?
No. There was even nothing to be done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever think that you'll be triggered back? And I know you said there's some people who can stop and then others, it will come for a certain time.
Yeah.
And come. Do you think it can come back that you could be a bedwetter, then you stopped, then a few years down the line or months, then it starts afresh?
Yeah, it has been known to happen.
Okay.
And that one is called secondary enuresis.
Okay.
Mostly there will be a trigger. There's something that the person who have gone through, some experience the person who have gone through, an experience like moving a child,
when you say moving
out of school,
okay,
moving from where they were staying. Maybe we were living in a court.
Okay.
We have moved to our own house with a big gate, where the child is now seeing the little friends they used to play with, or a child's somebody close to a child has died, a grandmother, a playmate, a teacher, or a child has gotten a sibling. This one is very common.
When a child gets a sibling, they start bedwetting.
Yes, because all the attention they used to get has been taken to this little crier here.
Okay.
So they are feeling like they have lost their parents. Both parents are obsessed with everybody's attention is on this other one, and she's not getting any kind of attention. That has been known. That one is so frequent.
The secondary enuresis.
Yes.
When you talk about secondary enuresis, can it affect adults also who are previous bedwetters, or even if you're not a bedwetter, a traumatic experience? Can it lead you into bedwetting?
It's rare in adults.
Okay, only children.
Yeah, only children. Some trauma, like all these children who are going to boarding school. Children joining Form 1 and studies are hard. I've met so many cases of children who are bedwetters when they're in school. Now, wakiwa nyumbani, they are dry.
But in school, they're bedwetters.
In school, they are daily chronic bedwetters. And when they come home during the holidays, 2-3 days at home, they go back to normal, they stop. But when an adult begins to become a bedwetter, let them be checked for something like diabetes, or a male should be checked for something like the prostate. An enlarged prostate can press on the bladder and cause some incontinence. An adult should not ignore becoming a bedwetter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for children, there's a pass to it. And I'm going to be talking more about that. But for an adult, you're saying you need to go and seek medical attention.
Yes.
I want to talk to you about now children when it comes to traumatic experiences. How can we resolve that?
Explore what point it has started. You've seen a child who was dry. They have now become a bedwetter.
Yes, maybe they were
2-3 days a week they are wetting the bed. Explore what has happened. Look for change of mood. Think about what could have happened that has changed in a child's life. A separation of parents, a move. Something is happening, some abuse may have happened to your child. Okay. Is there a new person living in the house that was not there? That could be doing maybe something to your child.
That is causing this occurrence.
Yes, because that is an outward manifestation of some trauma.
Okay.
In a child.
If you're just joining in, we're talking to Lucy Wambui, and the conversation is bedwetting as a medical condition. Have you heard about it? Do you have a child who is a bedwetter? Are you among those people? I'd like you to plug into this conversation through our social media handles, SpiceFM KE on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. SpiceFM. The show is The Adults in the Room. It's exactly 9 o'clock, and we are talking to Lucy Wambui, the founder and the founder of Enuresis initiative. And I know some of you are wondering, what is that? That's why I was telling you, Google is your friend. Find out the new languages. It's always very good to learn something new every other day. And of course, on our show, we are always trying our best to educate each other, to learn and relearn certain things. Today we are learning about bedwetting as a medical condition. Many of us have always thought that, hey, people who do this, they are just uncouth or this and that. It could be they have a problem. Have you as an adult, and I like what Lucy said on the previous link before we went on the top of the hour. For an adult, if you have never been a bedwetter and just you find yourself bedwetting, you need to ask yourself questions and go for a diagnosis. Before we talk about diagnosis and treatment, we were talking about traumatic experiences that some of our children might have happened to our children, or they are happening, that is causing bedwetting. And I was asking, how can we resolve this, or how can we make sure that we curb these traumatic experiences and help our children?
Protect our children. There are so many things that are harming our children, and unfortunately, a lot of these things are right in our homes and our environments and the places we take our children.
What do you mean places we take our children?
Places we take our children, sometimes like schools.
Oh, okay.
Like the boarding schools, that there's a lot of talk about the things that are happening to our children in boarding school.
Yeah.
There are things that happen to our kids there that they don't tell us about.
Okay, and then they react.
React through, maybe if you'll be lucky if your child manifests something like this, because it is very noticeable.
Yes.
There are other things that are happening to our children which they can't tell us. They don't tell us.
They're not.
But they manifest in maybe a child being a truant, dropping out of school.
Yes.
Doing things like drugs, showing a rebelliousness that is not. You can expect that a teenager will rebel.
Yes.
In a way, but when it exceeds certain limits, you need to explore what has happened to this child, what is bothering this child. Sexual abuse is so common.
Can cause a child to bedwet.
It can. It is a major cause of it.
Okay.
Yeah. Somebody is doing bad touch to your child.
And you haven't realized
and you haven't realized it. And especially when this is a person who is close to us, our relative, maybe even another parent. Maybe that brother of ours, or that house help, or somebody like that, close to the child, is doing bad things to the child. When you see your child beginning to become a bedwetter, having nightmares at night, try to find out what has happened to this kid.
Okay.
Hiyo si kitu ya kawaida na si kitu ya kunyamazia. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you talk about coping mechanisms and you were talking about protecting our children, there are certain risk factors that come with bedwetting, if we're very honest with ourselves.
Yes.
What are those risk factors, that come with bedwetting that affect our children and can affect an adult?
Okay. Some of the effects that...
risk factors.
The risk factors to this.
Yes. To bedwetting.
The risk factors to bedwetting.
Yes.
Okay. Some of these will be, for example, a child with a shattered self-esteem is at risk of being abused.
Because of this occurrence. Now now they're feeling...
Because they already have kitu ya kujichukia.
Okay.
Any child who is has a low self-esteem is at risk of being some kind of abuse, is at risk of being bullied.
Okay.
At school. When you have a child who is a bedwetter and maybe they don't get enough water to bathe in the morning, they can go to school smelling urine.
Yes.
And this, I have seen the schools that I have been, I've seen boys tell me that they are kind of isolated socially by the other kids in school because they are told they smell.
So it goes back to the parent. You're not helping this child in terms of hygiene.
Pay attention
to clean themselves
to this. Because I remember that, like myself, when I was a bedwetter,
yes,
I know those were the days when children used to be beaten like a drum.
Yes.
And my mother would make it clear to me, unachapiwa kunuka makojo. I don't care. Maybe you cannot help it. Ujisikiagi uamuke ukojoe. But
so you were beaten.
Ukinuka makojo. Hiyo ilikuwa vita. Haikuwa inawekwa.
Your mother would beat you for that.
So thoroughly. Don't go to school smelling urine.
Now that you're an adult, would you recommend a parent doing what your mother
Don't do this. Don't. They have no control over it. So beating them they're not going to stop because you have spanked them for it.
You're even causing more trauma.
You're even causing more trauma to the child.
Okay.
Yeah. So don't use such a method that my mother used. But for her, she made it clear that you should not be smelling urine. So I've grown up to be this woman who is I'm fastidious about feminine hygiene because of the beating that was instilled in me.
Yeah, no, I get you. And I come from a place where I have an auntie of us will tell the sons, tokeni hapa mnanuka mbuzi. And I'm like, oh my God, how would you tell your children that? And boys grew up, yes, they grew up saying, they want to be clean and they want to smell nice because they always remember their mother told them they smelled like goats.
That's a mother.
But it's very traumatizing when you think about it. We can laugh about it now.
No. Yes. Back then I would feel like my mother just hated me.
They didn't know better. I always say that.
Susumeka, but
they called you Susumeka.
Yeah, of course. But now
sorry, I'm laughing at you.
No, always laugh. Because it's a long time ago.
Yes.
But today, I appreciate this because you can encounter a female colleague who is not so keen on feminine hygiene, and when they pass you, you feel like, nini sasa. Yeah. They're not keen on the around that time of the month.
They're not clean. Could be also they're going through. Maybe they're also using their bedwetters.
Maybe they don't use toilet paper when they have a long call.
You know, actually, when you're talking about that, I'm sorry to digress, the reason why sometimes you might feel someone is smelling of urine, there are people who don't shower quite
this is
often.
The thing.
And they're coming from a place where they've even instilled in this. And I remember, I think I saw, is it a celebrity? And some people came, and the Kenyans are like, then they don't shower. And they have the means and resources. They do it twice a week. So you see, someone will not realize that this urine. So in terms of hygiene, and I'll take it back to a question, if you're a parent or if you're an adult who is a bedwetter, what would be your recommendation in terms of hygiene? Because you're coming from a place of where you were once a bedwetter.
Yes.
So you can relate.
Yeah,
what would be your recommendation to that parent and to that adult man and adult lady?
Okay. First of all, I would like to commend the parents that we have these days I know a lot of bad things are said about the parents of these days, that we have no time for our children. We are hot.
But we also
are busy. Yes. But let me tell you, since I started this program,
yes,
acha nikwambie wazazi wako hapa kwa hapa na hii shida ya watoto wao.
Yes.
They are so keen to find out.
Talk about it.
They don't talk about it, but wako hapa kwa hapa. Do you know how many children I have been sent to, niwapelekea hii kifaa, whose parents are out of the country, in the diaspora, wamama wa Gulf. They send me to the school of the child.
They're in the Gulf?
Yes, they're in the Gulf and wako hapa kwa hapa. Na ile kitu inasumbua mtoto wake. I saw you in so and so's video. Na mtoto wangu amesumbuka sana. And they are writing for me with a number. It's a 991 or what? That is Saudi Arabia, Qatar, what. Others in the US. So parents of these days, they are very, very much into whatever is troubling their children.
We should not castigate
Contrary
them.
to what we all know, what we have all been told, that they are busy and they don't care.
True, we are busy. We are trying to make a living, but
yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes.
I'm also seated here at this hour. My child is home.
Na uko nyumbani.
Yes.
A lot of mamas twingi wanatembeaga na nane cam.
Yes.
On their phone. Even when their child is crying, she will know. She will hear and find out what is happening.
Yes.
So, parents are greatly concerned about whatever is troubling their children.
Yes.
So a lot of parents in the morning, there are parents who you'll see in the balcony, the mattress is always out.
Yeah, I've heard people say that.
It has been hung out because there is a child who is a susu maker there. So the mother wakes up in the morning, strips the bedding, hangs the mattress on the balcony, and washes the bed sheets. Bed sheets za makojo hazikuangi na uchafu mwingi. Just take them to the bathroom, pour some detergent, sugua kidogo.
To get the stench out.
Yes, rinse and hang it.
Okay.
So that a child will have a nice place, a clean place to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, Spice.
Hello, SpiceFM.
How are you, darling? Do you have a question or a query to Lucy?
Nimewasalimia tu, nimewamiss tu sana.
Asante sana. Thanks for calling in. Yes?
You're more.
0719-012-600, the number to call if you have a question or a query to Lucy about bedwetting for you as an adult. Please remember, today I'm not asking your name. I'm not saying we're staying anonymous. Continue, my darling.
So this mom will be doing this just so that the child can sleep in a nice clean bed in the evening. Na akojoe tena. Na mama arudie process kesho asubuhi. There are mothers who do this day in, day out.
Yes.
Yeah, dedication to the child. This is the kind of support that we can give to our child to the extent possible. I know there are places where water is a problem.
Yes.
Can you at least hang that washing, or just spread out the beddings on the bed, the bed sheets on the bed, leave it to dry, so that the child can find a clean a dry place to sleep in the evening. I met a mother who had been advised by somebody who is actually a doctor that wachana na mtoto akikojoa, wacha akuje alalie hiyo makojoo jioni.
Yes, I've had people say that.
Ndio apate akili.
They'll learn a lesson and they'll stop.
Don't do that. Don't do that. So some of these things we do can cause our children to hate themselves forever. Don't ever make your child feel neglected because they have a special need like this one.
Okay.
Yeah. Try your level best to alleviate some of the discomfort, some of the pain they are going through.
Okay.
Jaribu uwezo, kadri ya uwezo wako. Yeah. Mtoto atakushukuru siku moja. Yeah.
For that adult who's listening to us and they're a bedwetter and they have many emotions going around, they could be feeling some level of disappointment because they're not able to get a partner or they've been ridiculed by their peers or their partners.
Yeah.
What would be your advice to them in terms of moving forward? Because if we're honest, even if we don't want to say it, Lucy, that person is feeling some type of way.
Of course.
There's some level of resentment they might have towards themselves.
Yeah, desperation.
And they're wondering, why me? Why can't I stop?
Yeah, yeah.
How could they, what are your words of encouragement, especially because you have gone through this and you've seen men and women go through this particular journey?
Okay. Like there's a group I had a support group I had of people who were going through their alarm therapy.
Yes.
And a lady confided there that in her home, it's the man, the husband, who is a bedwetter.
Yes.
Even the children have stopped.
Okay.
But daddy...
So it was children and daddy.
It was people who are concerned about this.
Okay.
Yeah. So this lady confided in her house it's the man who is a bedwetter.
Okay.
But she told us she's understanding because even her, she was a bedwetter. And when they met, there's a time they talked and they shared about this. So even when she was marrying this man, she knew his condition.
Okay.
And she accepted him as he was. So, like I had said earlier, it's a high time we started having conversations about this.
Do you think you
If you
should talk
meet-
about it early when you meet someone? You should just be outright, I bedwet.
Yes.
Take it or leave it, let them go.
You'll actually be surprised to find that the other person can tell you, really, even I was a bedwetter. Because that's something that I would share freely.
Okay.
I was one myself, and I stopped.
How did your spouse take it when you decided to get into this bedwetting journey?
Myself.
Yes.
I'm a single mother.
Oh, okay. Sorry for that.
Yeah,
Forgive me.
I'm a single mother. No, that's okay.
Yes.
I'm a single mother of
Because I'm
one
wondering, have you ever
young
told
man.
someone, a man that, hey, I'm a bedwetter, and I wanted to know the response to it, because you're telling someone that you meet Barbara, you meet James, you meet Nebuchadnezzar, as you're having conversation, you're like, I'm a bedwetter, I do this 3 times a week,
Yeah.
or 3 times a day.
I don't know, because I stopped completely.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I buried it somewhere that I was a susumeka.
But you were
Until-
young, if you think about it.
Yeah, I was 15. I was about 15.
Yes. Despite, yes, it's long, but
But even then, I would still ask myself, now, will I be a bedwetter all my life? Will I ever get married? Will I be a mother who is bedwetting on my
yes.
child? What will happen to me? So, but when it stopped, the times now I'm sharing this, that I was a bedwetter,
Yes.
is when I'm speaking out in fora like this.
okay.
Yeah.
And already now you're an adult, you
I'm
have
already
your
an adult.
confidence in check.
Yeah. But any man I've ever been involved with, maybe they probably don't even know.
Because you didn't share.
Yeah, until I tell somebody.
Okay.
And maybe if I tell somebody, they will probably just laugh and tell me, you now? Yeah, lakini si uliacha. You know how men are. They are
yes.
dismissive. Lakini si uliacha. Ya nini unashinda ukisema?
Okay. If you're joining in, this is SpiceFM. The show is The Adults in the Room. I'd like you to tell a friend to plug in on our stream, because on our next link, I want us to actually look at this gadget. I've asked for this gadget to come on the show that can help you, can help your child actually curb or stop this problem of bedwetting. Remember, the stream is www.spicefm.co.ke, and I would like you to plug in. We have an audio and a visual, but just because I want you, especially if you are going through this particular medical condition, you need to know how it works, you need to know how it looks like, and Lucy will be doing some demonstrations about it. So of course, if you're not on our stream, you can listen in keenly and get to understand and see how the gadget works. You're listening to SpiceFM. I'm the Duchess of Ecolomani. The conversation is bedwetting as a medical condition.
Spice.
Joining in, we are the adults in the room. Today's adults are, you are listening in, Lucy Wambui, and I, the Duchess of Ecolomani. We're talking about bedwetting as a medical condition. I know this is a subject that is a bit too touchy, a bit too sensitive, and sometimes it is a taboo. Those of us who've undergone this or are going through this or have children never want to speak about it. If you have a question to Lucy, I would like you to opine on it, or opine it on our social media handles. Send in your question or contribution. I'll send it directly to Lucy and she'll answer it, or you can call in on 0719 012 Lucy, before we get into the business of looking at the alarm gadget, when I was talking about it being a taboo, there are a lot of misconceptions,
Yes.
myths that surround bedwetting.
Yes.
What are some of these misconceptions and myths, and how can we debunk them as
Okay.
adults?
Okay. First of all, like we said, this can be genetic.
Yes.
I did a show just the other day here, and after that I got a call from a gentleman who told me that in his family, all his children are bedwetters, and all his brothers' children are bedwetters.
Okay.
Well, ni family ya wakojozi.
Okay, you know when you say that, it actually becomes a bit hurtful and laughable at family ya wakojozi.
Ni family ya wakojozi.
Hey, Lucy.
Well,
Okay.
I'm saying this as a former mkojozi.
Okay.
See ati nawachekelea.
And
I'm not condemning them.
Yes, I
okay.
get you.
So that now, when you have something like this happening, 2-3 children of you as a bedwetters, and your brother's children and your sister's children, these are probably the genes that you got from your parents. Okay. If you're honest, you may admit that maybe you were bedwetters yourselves.
Okay. You're just
mulikuwa munakojoleana kwenu.
Na msemi. And your parents know about it.
And your parents know about it.
Yeah.
And they just zip it up.
They make it think that it's only you people.
Yes. Yeah. So when you have something like this happening, it's easy to entertain notions of we are bewitched.
Oh, yeah.
Tumerogwa. Tulirogwa na jirani.
Oh, you have heard of those.
Tulirogwa na mama mdogo kwa sababu ya wivu. Hatupendi. Alituroga watoto wetu wote ni wakojozi. Alituroga watoto wetu sijui nini. So it's easy to entertain notions like this. We debunk them by saying this could be your genes.
No one bewitched you.
No one bewitched you. Because if it was bewitching, wazungu hawangekuwa wanakojoa.
Because they're not into this.
You know, they're not into this. They don't even know these things. Waindi hawangekuwa wanakojoa.
Lakini pia na uchawi.
Lakini si huwa wakurogana hivyo.
Okay.
Waturoge watoto wa mtu wakuwe wakojozi. Yeah. It will not be happening to other races.
Yes.
It will not be happening to other people who don't believe in witchcraft.
Yes.
Okay.
I get you.
Yeah. Some of the home remedies.
The myths first, before we get to remedies. There are myths and misconceptions.
The myths that are applied in some of the treatments that are suggested. Like if you lick some salt before bedtime.
Oh, yeah, I've heard people say that. Is that true?
I know, it's kind of widespread.
Yeah, you've heard that.
Mtoto anarambishwa chumvi.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
Kabla alale.
Or some people give their children vinegar.
Oh my God.
And I'm thinking that's a bit too dangerous.
Na vile iko kali.
Yeah, they give them.
Yeah.
To dry them up.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah. If it's a matter of drying up, there are some medications that are used by doctors. Okay. And a lot of the people who have come to me have told me they have been taking these medications. Kuna tudawa nilikuwa napewa na daktari na kunywa na acha. Tudawa tukiisha na rejelewa kukojoa.
I hold that thought. Hello, Spice.
Hello.
Good evening, sir. What is your question to Lucy?
Okay, when you go to the issue of milk, I remember the time this lady was my cousin, and
reduce the volume of your radio or your gadget so that we can hear you clearly. I want Lucy to get you. No, look for some is network or just raise your voice a bit, then we can hear you better. Hello? 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 Call me back. Please call me back. Your line was not clear, but I know you had a question, and I would like Lucy to also interact with you and answer it. 0719-012-600 is the number to call. SpiceFM KE on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We're talking about the misconception. We've talked about you cannot be bewitched. We put that aside. Issue of licking salt, tasting vinegar, drinking a spoonful. Let's stop that.
Also, it's a misconception that the bedwetter is somebody who is lazy.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that. That's not nice.
Ni mtoto ana madharau. Nitakuchapa uishe hii madharau yako. It is no such thing. This person has no control over this. Yeah. It's also a misconception that the bedwetter is somebody who dreamt they were in a loom.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. But I've had some people say, I thought I was.
Aliota amejificha kwa manyasi hapo.
Or they were going to the bathroom.
No, they were going to the bathroom and they dreamt that they were sitting on the toilet akakojoa alafu akajipata amekojoa kwa kitanda. No, they don't.
They just
don't know. They don't feel anything. They don't even know what happens. Yeah.
It happens in their sleep.
It just happens in their sleeps. And it is like I said, it's wholly involuntary.
Okay.
Yeah, isi kitu ya kupenda, si makusudi, si madharau, si uvivu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, there's a president, an African president today, who was doing a guard of honor.
Yeah.
And when he was doing a guard of honor, he trickled.
Yeah.
And trust social media. Trust
I saw it.
Kenyans.
I've seen
to
it
blow
this
it
afternoon.
up. Yes. In fact, there are people who ask me, so you're having this conversation because, and I'm like, no.
No. It's just a coincidence.
Yeah, because we had
planned by
from
the way.
last week.
Yes.
And that was not the reason.
Yeah.
Now, for someone who finds themselves in such a situation, I know we've talked about bedwetting, but just urinating
involuntarily. Okay. Yeah, I have seen that. I watched that video. I'm one person who, if a video is something bad happening to another human being, I don't watch it till the end. And I don't share it.
Oh, yeah, actually. I remember,
it.
Yes, I remember, I think my co-host sent it to me in the morning. I looked at it and I just kept quiet. And she was like, when is the conversation? I was like, today. And then we just left it at there because it was going online. But along the day, I've seen it about in 8 different groups.
I just read that
and I didn't open
akona issue ya kujikojolea. So I didn't wait to the part where he would trickle him on himself. I didn't wait.
Yeah,
I didn't watch it up to that point.
And I'm sure people sent
But
you because you are the founder of
I got it
Enuresis.
several times.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw it and I felt so sorry for this gentleman.
Given that he's a president,
that he's a president, and we expect our presidents, people like president and all these other people to be immortal.
Yeah.
They are guarded with the bodyguards. They are rich. They have all the power and the glory.
They have
we don't expect
resources.
them here. But actually, this is something that happens a lot to men as they get older.
Okay.
The male gender has something called the prostate gland. And as men get old, all men.
Yes.
All these men who are making fun of this gentleman, they all have a prostate.
Yes.
As they get older, it will get larger and larger, and it can press on the bladder. And when it presses on the bladder, that's when you have a man who he will go to the loo and pass urine, and when he thinks he has finished, as he's coming out of the toilet or a few minutes later, the other urine that was left in the bladder will actually trickle out without even him knowing, without him feeling. It's very, very common to see, especially in the villages, because that's where most older people live.
Yes.
You see an older man with a patch.
Yes.
Of urine.
Yeah, okay.
On the left leg or whatever leg.
It just comes off.
It just comes out. This mzee is actually... maybe it's a good thing that it happened, although it was so sad for him.
To happen in public.
Yeah. This is a good time to have conversations about this.
Yes.
That every man, it is recommended, after the age of maybe 35, 40, 50s, every man should have their prostate checked.
Yes.
The process of checking the prostate is actually having a doctor insert a finger inside the rear end, the anus.
Okay,
that's where they
because
feel
of communication authority.
Sorry.
No problem.
No, that's what doctors would call it. Sorry.
Yes. No, it's okay. I understand.
On the back end.
Yes, let's call it a prostate procedure.
That one should be done.
Yes.
Yeah. It's important. There are so many
once a year
bad
or
things.
severally?
Once a year, at least once a year.
Okay.
There are so many bad things that can be caught and stopped by that simple procedure. In the same way that we are advised to have the pap smear.
And the mammograms. And
the mammograms and all that. There are so many things that can be checked and they can be stopped by just having that.
Okay.
So it's maybe a good thing that this happened to this public figure.
So we can have
that we can have conversations about it.
And also be sensitive and humane towards this. Let me pick this call, then we can proceed. Hello, Spice.
Hello, that is hi.
Fine, thank you, sir. What's your question to Lucy?
Well, I want to dwell on that prostate cancer screening.
Yes, go ahead.
Is there any other way that can be done? Is there any other way that it can be done apart from that way that you just talked about it on radio? Is there any other good way? Because It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I can't imagine somebody doing that to me. I mean,
Okay.
is there any good plan? And question number 2. A friend of mine used to avoid taking tea before going to bed.
A friend of yours used to avoid what?
Taking tea or liquidish substance before going to bed. Ila cha ajabu ni kwamba alikuwa analipua mfereji yani, so nashindwa kuelewa how does it happen, because he doesn't take tea when going to bed and still he needs to bed. How does it happen?
Thank you for that, sir. Basi Kiswahili ni alikuwa analipua msheredi, meaning this particular person would avoid taking fluids, and I've heard about that. Avoid taking tea to a certain hour, but still I know of a person who says they try to keep their children off fluids, but sometimes this child just bedwets this, and this gentleman is saying
Spice.
would still bedwet.
This is another myth. It had slipped my mind. That's another myth.
Or misconception.
Yeah,
of those.
don't take liquid after 4 o'clock. It doesn't help.
Or after 7.
Yeah, it doesn't help. It's not even healthy to avoid taking something like water when you are thirsty.
Yes.
Yeah, for fear of bedwetting.
Yeah.
It's unhealthy.
They're thirsty, they don't want to take that.
Yes.
Just take your water.
It's actually very, very unhealthy to avoid taking water when you are thirsty.
Just
and it's
take
unhealthy to deny your child water because they will bedwet. It doesn't help. And them getting dehydrated is bad for your health. Now, to go back to this matter of the prostate.
Yeah, I don't think there is.
This matter of the prostate, an enlarged prostate is not necessarily cancer.
Yes, that's true.
That's what people need to know. But an enlarged prostate can cause this kind of incontinence.
Yeah.
This
involuntary urination.
Like that trickling we have seen in this mzee.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of any other. There are some methods that are being researched,
but they've not
checking for this, for cancer, but not for the enlarged prostate.
Yeah.
The enlarged prostate can only be felt by a doctor inserting a finger.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are no options.
We also don't like the pap smear very much.
Yeah,
it's done in a very, very
unconventional.
It's done in the most the worst position for a woman.
Yes, you would
flat
think
on your back like this.
Yes.
We don't like it,
but it has to be done.
But it can save you so much trouble.
Yes.
And there's so many bad things. Even a mammogram is painful. But it can save you so many things.
Okay.
Yeah. So as we have these conversations, let's get it. Let's get used to the idea of some of these things.
Okay.
Because also trickling like that in public, like what happened to this mzee, and it happens to a lot of men.
It can cause you some esteem issues.
So much.
Yeah.
Now the whole world is talking about this mzee, and not in an unkind way.
Yeah.
Let's stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's show some love.
Let's show some love. And if there is anybody who is listening to this who has the ear of this gentleman, get him checked.
Okay.
Yes.
And any other person.
Any other person.
Let's talk about this gadget of yours. What's the name of this gadget that has helped several thousands of Kenyan children and adults to stop bedwetting? What is the name of the gadget?
It's called a bedwetting alarm.
If you're on our stream, that is www.spicefm.co.ke. I want you to demonstrate how it works and tell me.
It's a bedwetting alarm.
Bedwetting alarm. How much does it go for?
Or an Enuresis alarm. It's going for just 3,000 shillings.
Okay.
Yeah. 3,000 shillings, ishida ikuishe. Yes, it has been known, it has worked where it has been used.
Okay.
There are people who have, if there's anybody there who is listening to us who has used this and they have stopped, please let us know.
Okay, so
because,
you wear it where?
You wear
on
it
your
around,
waist, on your arm, on your head?
You wear it around your arm.
Or like a watch? Like a watch. Oh,
around the upper arm.
Like the one for pressure.
Like the one for pressure.
Yes, go to your mic because I need people to, yes.
Yeah, like the one for BP.
Yes.
This tip here has a sensor.
Okay.
Okay. So this tip should actually be passed through the sleeve like this, basically so that to avoid having something that can struggle a child when they sleep. So pass it to
Is the cable long enough?
Yeah, it's long enough. When you open it, it's long enough.
Back to the mic so that they can hear you.
It's long enough.
Yes.
It's long enough. So this tip here, it has a clasp. This clasp will be clasped on the panty for a girl, or the boxer or shorts for a boy, around where wetness begins.
Okay.
Okay.
But wouldn't it be uncomfortable?
No, they won't even feel it.
When you put something on their panty?
Yeah, they won't even feel it.
Because you said you put your panty next to where the wetness will
Yes. Clasp it like this.
It won't even trigger them or feel uncomfortable, maybe if it's in between their legs?
No.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
it won't. When they wear it, they don't even feel it.
Okay.
Yeah. So just wear it.
Then you switch
clasp
it on.
to
Does
the
it use
panty.
batteries?
It has a battery.
Okay.
It has a battery, and it comes with some extra batteries. The kit comes with some extra batteries.
How many
So
extra
it's
batteries?
2 extra batteries.
What is the
This
longevity
one?
of these batteries?
This one can last about 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
That's
you
just to make sure you don't run out of battery
Okay.
when you are using it. There are some others that are chargeable, but they are costing a little more, and I'm sensitive to the kind of a market we have.
Okay.
Yeah. So just that, and then you go to sleep. When the child starts, or the person starts bedwetting, it will trigger the alarm.
So the moment you feel like any wetness,
Just drops.
is it triggered to our hormones or our senses, or what triggers this machine to make that sound?
The urine.
So let me assume that maybe my child or this adult has some weight.
Yes.
And this person has some weight, like the Duchess here.
Yeah.
So then they've put it on their panty,
hapa
or their
mbele.
or their pajama, or
Yes.
whichever it is. And because of their weight, now how will it censor? Because I'm not get that part of censoring is where I'm wondering.
It will censor when they begin to kukojoa.
Okay.
Akianza kukojoa.
It wakes them up.
Hii ikisikia makojoo inaanza kupiga alarm.
What if this person can sleep? You know, there are people who can sleep
Deep
through.
sleepers.
Yes.
Because being a
does it
deep sleeper.
Does it
being a deep
vibrate?
yes, it has a vibration.
Okay, on
and it
the
has
arm.
a light.
Oh, now that makes sense.
There's this light. This will be very bright when in the dark.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's vibrating. I'm feeling a vibration on my
so
arm.
despite the alarm, the ring,
There's
a ring, there's a vibration,
there's a vibration,
and there's a
light.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because some people can really sleep.
There's some people can really sleep.
Yeah, I have relatives who can sleep out of anything.
Like in the dead of the night,
Yes.
this can be heard in the entire household.
So everyone, support system will wake you up.
Yes. Support system will wake you up. Like I've said, the parents are very keen on the things that are troubling their children. So some parents, they procured this gadget for their child, and the child is sleeping through it.
Yes.
Some parents move into the kid's bedroom.
To wake
A
them up.
mother moves into the young man's bedroom.
Because she
Analala
can
hapo
hear.
beside it.
Because she
Yes,
can
kwa
hear
sababu
na
mama
huyu
akisikia
huyu
ataamka amwamshe amka.
And the son or the boy is
Yes. And they do that for about a week or so. Unaona mtoto ameanza kujiamsha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just hold your thought. Let me take this call. Hello, Spice. Proceed.
Sawa. So this gadget, it doesn't mean that you forever be sleeping with a gadget.
It's just for some time.
It's for 6 weeks.
Okay.
The therapy period is for 6 weeks. Some people stop. They actually wanaanza kujisikia by the 10th day.
Okay.
When the bladder feels, because
so we're all
basically
different. So you give it to 3 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically how it works is to train you ukijisikia when your bladder feels.
You go to the bathroom.
Yes.
Okay.
Because that's what a normal person does.
Hello, Spice.
Hello, Spice.
Yes, sir. What's your question to Lucy?
Okay, ningependa kuuliza Lucy. Unapata mtu anakojoa hadi afike class 7. Sasa hiyo pia ni tu shida ni the same.
Okay, unauliza kama shida bado ni medical condition. Concerned parent says their child is
mnakojoa mpaka akafika mateenage, early teens.
Unajasikia Lucy said till she was 15. That is secondary school?
Yeah. That is secondary school from 3 hivi.
Yeah, so it is normal.
Yes.
And a medical condition.
Yes, it's a medical condition. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they deal with how you said
Yes.
you deal it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, Spice. Hello. Please reduce the volume of your radio or your gadget. I'd like to hear you better. Lucy, now, on the gadget for the parents who are, you've said it works between 10 days to 3 months.
Yes.
Now, in the event it recurs, we go back to
the event
this.
it recurs
Because of the traumatic
resume the therapy.
Okay.
Yeah, resume the therapy for another 6 weeks.
Before you go back to the gadget.
Yes. Resume the gadget therapy.
Oh.
For another six
So it has to be a 6-week thing.
Yes, it has to be 6 weeks.
Okay.
Usiachie katikati.
Hello, Spice.
And I was asking,
Yes.
what causes frequent urination?
What causes frequent urination? Okay.
We want to know whether that person has another medical condition. Are they diabetic?
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's normal for both men and women to have frequent urination?
Yes. That's one of the signs of it. That's what they check. So doctors ask for. Chronic thirstiness. These are some of the things that doctors check for when they hear of frequent urination.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if it's just a frequent urination, maybe in the morning, maybe in the morning after breakfast, maybe a child drank 2 cups of tea. When they go to school, they will take 2 bathroom breaks.
Yes.
In the first lesson. Because that's when we ask for permission. In the first lesson.
Yes.
Ikienda the lesson ya pili ya tatu hivi, they taper off.
Oh, yes. I've seen schools, because I've also seen it in my Sunday school. They make sure the first thing they take them, because they realize their kids just take them.
Yes.
Even if those ones are like, they don't.
Yes.
Because
they are all queued and taken.
I have a child who I always say she acts like a soldier. She'll say, Mama, I don't feel like going to the bathroom, but I just have to go because the whole class is taking the bathroom.
Yes.
She then like, why? And I tell her, because there are people who are different.
Teachers are trained.
Yes.
To do those, especially those younger children.
Yes.
Before they go to class, they go to their loo.
Yes.
Yeah.
After assembly, after everything.
Yes. So that person with that issue we talked about, an overactive bladder. Eliminate mara mingi sana. And that is not necessarily a bad thing.
Okay.
But if it is causing bedwetting, then it's a cause for concern.
Then we need to look at it differently.
Yeah.
If you're just joining in, we are the adults in the room. We've been talking to Lucy, the founder of Enuresis Initiative. And the conversation today is about bedwetting as a medical condition. Bedwetting in adults, bedwetting in children. I'd like you to plug in if you still have a question. She's here till 10 o'clock. Make sure you plug in.
Spice.
Joining in, we are the adults in the room, and we're talking to Lucy Wambui, the founder of Enuresis Initiative, and the conversation today has been about bedwetting as a medical condition. I know when we talk about bedwetting, it's more of a taboo in our country. It's a very sensitive issue that sometimes we don't speak about it. We could be having our spouses, our children, our girlfriends and boyfriends, or even a member of the family. And people who are going through this have really been castigated or demonized. We need to understand when it comes to bedwetting, it is a medical condition. It is nothing. There's difference. At a certain age, we need to start re-looking at it. Why is it happening? What is causing? And I hope you have been listening to the show and listening to what Lucy has been saying. Lucy, there's something you said that I would like us to go back to. You talked about the gadget being used for 6 weeks, like a dosage. If someone does not finish the whole 6 weeks process, does it mean it will recur?
Depending, people are different.
Yes.
It's always good ni vizuri kumaliza dose.
Yes.
It's always good to take the recommended dose.
Yes.
Of whatever, whether it's medication or therapy or whatever. It's good to take the 6 weeks. Many people actually stop before the 6 weeks.
Yes.
But if you stop midway, there are chances of it recurring.
You need to finish.
It needs to get into your psychology that when my bladder feels, I wake up.
So the 6 weeks
from whatever
it's like
deep
a training.
Sleep, yes, it's like training that bladder. Training it to, first of all, to hold, to become regular, and training your brain to be waking up, awakening when your bladder feels. Because this is what a normal person does. Even if you drink maybe you drink, you had 2 mugs of cocoa before you slept.
Yes.
In the night, you will wake up and go to
Yes.
the loo.
Something triggers you.
Yes.
But for this people who
But
have
for
this
the
con-
enuretic,
they
doesn't.
don't. They sleep through it.
Yes, they sleep through it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's something to do with their hormones or psychology or what happens?
Maybe both.
Okay.
Maybe both.
To someone who's seated at home right now, they have a child or they have a partner, what do you think should be their role going forward to this enuretic, can I say victim? Is victim a good word to use? Or enuretic person?
The enuretic person or
Yes.
the person who is bedwetting.
Yes.
Okay. There's a reason why we were put in this world, and one of the best ways to go about why I'm here is to be a carer.
Okay.
We all have a duty of care to the next person. We have a duty of care to our children. We have a duty of care to our siblings, our workmates, our partners, our husbands, our wives. We have a duty of care to all these persons. So maybe your spouse is sitting there, they have been suffering from this. Like when I first did the first interview I did in a vernacular YouTube, there's a lady who shared that one day her baby daddy had an episode of bedwetting when they were sleeping together. And from that point on, that man disappeared into thin air.
Yes.
He couldn't face it. This is the one I'm talking about, the intermittent one, which is very, very troubling. The one which stops for a few months and then you have an episode and another.
Yes.
Or you have just one episode in 3 months and this throws your whole life into disarray.
Okay.
Maybe you had even gotten into a relationship because you thought you had stopped.
Yes.
And this happened. And it destabilizes you completely.
If someone would like to reach you privately, how can they reach you?
Okay.
Yes.
I actually give my number
Yes.
for persons who are troubled by this to reach me.
Yes.
My number is 0713 679 187.
Please repeat that number.
0713 679 187.
Do you have an email address someone can reach you?
Yes, I
Okay.
do have an email address. That number is also a WhatsApp.
Or social media?
Yeah, of social media page for the Enuresis initiative.
For the Enuresis initiative?
Yeah, it has following from all over the world.
Is it on Facebook alone?
It's
or
on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they can reach you on Facebook?
Yes, they can reach me on Facebook, on that on Messenger. They can reach me on WhatsApp, or
Yes.
you can call me or text me.
Yes.
Or you can write to my email if you're on Gmail, Wambui Lucy 075
Wambui-Lucy-075
at gmail.com.
And the Facebook page is the
Enuresis initiative. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You are available and you respond to
Yeah,
some
I
of this.
do.
Okay.
Yeah, there are many people who have reached me through Messenger on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for making time to come
Yeah,
to the show.
yeah.
I really appreciate that when I asked and when we communicated, you were such a darling. You came through. On behalf of the Spice FM T
Yes.
and the Spice FM family, tunasema asante sana.
Asante sana,
Thank you to everyone who
Spice.
plugged into the show, those who listened in. See you tomorrow, same time.
Spice.